Today, I'll be reacting and commenting on a video from PsychHacks. He's a psychologist, and in this video, he talks about the importance that men screen and test women as soon as possible. Let's take a listen.
I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is PsychHacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is test her. My dudes, it is absolutely essential that you test women before you enter into sexual relationships with them. Women have figured this out a long time ago. Women test men all the time. Unfortunately, due to their poor optionality, the average guy doesn't think to test a woman who shows interest in him. He's just happy to be there.
True.
Unfortunately, this attitude significantly increases the likelihood that he will get involved with a dangerous, difficult, or disordered woman on a long enough time frame. And
that is true. Think about it. How many times do guys just go with the flow, see what happens? They don't really have direction. They kind of just allow the relationship to unfold based on the woman kind of like pushing like, okay, we're going to get married, we're going to do this. And the guy's like, okay. But how many times does he really say, no, we're going to have these boundaries, these type of standards, expectations? But on the flip side, women typically have that. Let's continue.
I'm here today to teach guys on how to go about avoiding that. To be honest, I'll probably have to do several episodes on the subject, but hey, you got to start somewhere. Now, there are many different kinds of women you're going to want to avoid getting involved with. And one of these kinds I call a bomb. What do bombs do? They explode.
Yep.
Sometimes at the slightest touch.
Shoot.
Bombs are women who are going to explode at you the first time you don't do something right or the first time you do something wrong. And I'm putting those words in quotes because their notion of right and wrong is almost never connected to some kind of extrapolated morality and is almost always based on their own subjective interests and goals. That is, right is what she wants and wrong is what she doesn't. Those who give her what she wants are good. Those who don't are bad or unhealthy or toxic or sexist and so on.
Yeah, those labels get thrown around.
When you touch a bomb the wrong way, and boy, are some of these bombs touchy, they're going to explode. And they're going to explode with all the force of being convicted in their own self-righteousness. She might yell or pout or call you names or throw things, or threaten the continued basis of the relationship. These are all forms of immaturity and emotional dysregulation at best, and may be signs of more significant personality dysfunction at worst.
I think at the beginning, it's very small, but then later on, it can escalate to something that big. I don't think that necessarily happens right away at the beginning, but there could be some signs.
It should go without saying, but here it is. This is a type of woman that you absolutely do not want to have a relationship with. Why? Because only one of two outcomes is inevitable here. Either she's going to keep exploding, and you're either going to spend a significant portion of your relationship fighting or conducting damage control, or you're going to end up tiptoeing around her trigger points and walking on eggshells.
Exhausting.
In either case, your life is going to be stressful and unnecessarily complicated.
Yep.
Much better to just not get involved in the first place. Mm-hmm. Now, the good news is that this type of woman is actually very easy to avoid. Indeed, in the majority of cases, you can identify them before you even meet them, which will save you a good deal of time, energy, and money. So how do you do that? Well, what does the bomb squad do when they encounter a suspicious package? They take it to a safe location and they perform a controlled detonation. They set it off. This renders the bomb, if it is a bomb, safe and harmless. And if it isn't a bomb, they can move forward with their business. But better safe than sorry.
That's a great analogy. Love it. Love it. That's exactly true. You just want to test it. Obviously, you don't want the big kaboom. Like I'm sure there's different scales, different levels, but just do a small little demolition test and then go from there.
And it's not because she didn't want to work weekends. Think about it. What stopped this applicant from saying, unfortunately, I wouldn't be willing to do that? Nothing. Like, there's absolutely no reason to explode on the prospective employer. And the fact that she did indicates A, a low interest in the position, and or B, a perceived superiority relative to the prospective employer. For better or worse, people don't talk up power hierarchies in that way, but they might talk down them in such a fashion.
I think when getting to know somebody, whether it's in an interview or dating, and you have a temper, you still have the ability to control it. I'd say most people would. It's only when you get further into the relationship that you let off the steam. So even though it's good to know if somebody has that temper, is about to unleash it, I think the cases into which that happens is extremely rare.
Such people believe that they're doing the employer a favor by interviewing there. Of course, if they had anywhere better to interview, we'd have to assume they'd be there instead, so this is an arrogant and entitled response.
I agree.
Now, let's shift back to testing women in the context of dating. There are many different ways for men to perform controlled detonations on prospective lovers. And ideally, these tests are conducted before the date even occurs, saving both sides a lot of time and energy.
That's tricky.
One easy way to do this is to ask a woman to send you pics prior to a date.
Oh, I don't like that.
I understand this is going to be a contentious suggestion for some folks, but I think it's a good idea for a number of reasons.
I don't think
Let's
so.
explore this further.
No.
First and foremost, requesting pics from a woman is kind of a way of making sure that you're both more or less on the same page with respect to the nature of this potential relationship. Like, this isn't going to be a friendly chat or some kind of interview. It's a date with all of its attendant sexual associations and possibilities. This will not only help prevent men from entering into ambiguous interactions with women, but it will give men important information about the woman's level of attraction and aspects of her character as well.
Oh, don't do this, guys. Don't do this. He doesn't even specify whether it's the sexy photos or regular, but just in general, this is a bad idea. Because she's going to be wondering, why do you want these photos? It's going to seem creepy to her, and most likely she's either going to call off the date or you're walking into this on strike 2. You make any minor mistake, she done. Because she's creeped out. She's like, why do you need these photos? And what have you really accomplished in this test? Like what, that she may just like ultra overreact? But again, she's going to probably hold her composure, especially on the first few dates. So the risk that you're running into does not outweigh the reward. And even if you get like a few good photos, like what's the point? Again, like if she's that into you, you would have discovered it anyways. So.
And it's very important for men to gauge both of these components as early in the courtship as possible. It should go without saying, but you only really want to go out with women who A, express a very high level of attraction for you, and B, have non-reactive, non-explosive characters. The risks and costs associated with not doing this are just too high for men in today's day and age.
Find a better test. Do not do that one.
So let's run through the various possibilities. If a woman is very attracted to you and is interested in a sexual relationship, how is she going to respond? You guessed it, by sending you some pics. Maybe with a little note attached. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see. Kissy face, kissy face.
No.
And if she's
She's not going to do that. She
very interested and somewhat clever, how would she answer? You know, I don't usually do this kind of thing, but you seem like such a nice guy, and I feel like I can trust you. Smart. Now, not only did she do it, but she did it in a way that made that guy feel special, effectively conjuring additional value out of something she was apparently willing to do anyway. Well done. In any case, you can now be fairly confident that the woman in question has a high level of interest in a sexual relationship, and you can feel safer about moving forward.
No, you don't, because if she has high interest in you, she'd be glad to go on this date and you could escalate it there and you could see it. And if she doesn't have a high interest in you, she's just a hoe, well, you're still screwed. And if that's what you want, then fine. But you could just gone on the date and figured it out right then and there. So you didn't really avoid anything. You just put yourself at strike two.
On the other hand, a bomb is absolutely going to explode at such a request.
Rare case that I would get it. And in that case, I feel like that's justified.
What? How dare you talk to me like that? How disgusting and disrespectful. I can't believe you would ask for something like this. What kind of a man are you? Is that all that you're interested in? Etc., etc., etc. Congratulations. You've just detonated a bomb at a safe distance. Her response communicated in no uncertain terms that she had little interest in a sexual relationship with you, even though she presumably had no problem with you taking her out and giving her your time, energy, and money. Furthermore, she demonstrated that she apparently feels justified in punishing men who violate her expectations with respect to how the courtship and presumably the relationship should proceed. Remember, punishment only flows from the high to the low. So this is a woman who probably thought she was doing you a favor by allowing you to take her out. In any event, she is likely searching for a man to fit into her frame and to provide her a relationship on her terms. Dating her would be a slow castration. This is just one way that men can test women. There are plenty of others, but in the interest of time, we're going to have to wrap it up here. Just remember, it's not really about the pick. There are even ways for women to demonstrate a high level of attraction and good character while acting demure. The point is to collect reliable data on these metrics before you engage, so that you can make better decisions on how to spend your necessarily limited resources.
Overall, his analogy of detonate the bomb in a safe area as soon as possible makes complete sense. I love that. However, I think his example greatly misses the mark. The problem with this type of test is not only are you going to filter out the bomb girls, but also the high quality girls as well. I get what he's trying to say. He's like, don't end up in the friend zone. Let's make sure that this is a sexual relationship, that we both know it. And don't waste your time, energy, and resources. You don't want to be in a relationship 1 year from now with that type of girl. Completely get it. However, I think we can both agree that a guy can go on a coffee date and be willing to risk that. In fact, I think that coffee date is actually better because it shows that she's interested in you. It doesn't require too much time, too much money. And guess what you're doing? You're focusing on each other. If you go out for dinner, for movies, for whatever, how much money is that going to cost and the distractions that are included in it? When you go for coffee, it's the expectation we're talking, we're getting to know each other. And in that way, you can pick up better on her manners, her thought process, and that is the better way on how to test and screen if she's right for you. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed this type of commentary video, check out my other one. And if you're with me so far, thank you for being a part of my self-improvement journey. Because as Peter Parker says, I'm trying to do better.
You're all grown up. How are you?
Trying to do better.